Welcome back to another Charlotte Legacy League Vintage Saturday, where we have green-white lands versus Grixis wheels.
A huge thank you to the Patreon supporters who are helping the league and YouTube channel. If you would like to become a supporter, please click on the link in the show notes.
Excited to welcome everyone back to a Vintage Saturday. This was taken the week before Eternal Weekend. It's just how long it's taken me to get around to doing this, even though Christmas came and went and I didn't do any videos. So my bad on that. But anyway, so we're playing some green-white lands here with fast spawns and Luris. Pretty stoked before I took this to Eternal Weekend, as I'm a green-white lands player, as most of you know. So we've got a little bit of going on here. My green-white lands deck was running an Echoing Deep, a typical package. Main deck Haywire Might, main deck Grabseeker's Cage, Pithing Needle, and a Retrofitter Foundry that I could go get off a Saga. And then I'm playing the normal 4 spheres plus the 1 thorn, and then 4 sagas, strip mine, 4 wastelands, and the Dark Depths combo. So what I found interesting during the vintage Eternal Weekend was how many vintage players don't actually know how the Dark Depths combo works. And I was very happy about that, because I'd go to make a Dark Depths, completely forgetting that Boseiju is rampant in this format, and I would go to copy the Dark Depths, and they would just Boseiju the Dark Depths before I actually copied it with the Thespian stage, only causing me to lose the Dark Depths, not lose both of my lands, which was absolutely fantastic. Was, again, elated that that's how that went down. So this deck is also running a Bazaar, which after Eternal Weekend I decided to cut. It didn't really. I'm not a very good vintage player, so it probably is really good in this deck, and I'm just a horrible vintage player and have no idea how to actually play with the card. I can see the upside to it, as I'm a big Dak Faden Punishing Fire fan. But we're getting flustered here, just getting absolutely ass kicked. But it's a good thing we have another one of those in our hand to just play out. Anyway, what I was saying about Bazaar is I play Dak Faden in Legacy and Punishing Fires, and I get the, loan back 3, draw 2, pitch your 3 lands kind of thing, and cycle through your deck. I just never, I don't know, I didn't like it, and so I got rid of the Bazaar. And that may have been a mistake, but it is what it is. But anyway, on a plus note, my goal at Eternal Weekend was to go 2 wins, and I was very excited that I actually went 4 and 5 without, like legitimate 4-5, no buys or anything like that. I actually beat 4 people. In the beginning of the day, I thought to myself that, I was 2-0 after round 1, round 2, and I, got in my own head and was like, you know what, I'm going to take this whole thing down. Yeah, then I got stomped for like 3 matches in a row, and got put right back in my place as a normal vintage player, or not even a normal vintage player, a vintage player who actually has no idea what they're doing. So, all right, so we got a Pithing Needle coming out. He's naming Wasteland here. Thank God. He named Strip Mine, and then I draw the Wasteland, which is what we're laughing about. So he named the Strip Mine that I'd been using the whole game to keep him off mana, and then I just top decked a Wasteland. So it's a win-win for me there. We've got some plays here, so I think I'd stop dredging and just try and find a fast spawn or something like that, which, right off the top, here we go. So we're hoping and praying. I don't know why I play a land here, because if he has like Mental Misstep or anything like that, he hits the Wasteland, or he hits that anyway. With the fast spawn available, then we can play the rest of our lands, and now the loam is incredibly good for me at my turn. So yeah, I forgot that I actually have to pay life or take damage from the fast bond. I'm used to using exploration in Legacy, so it's first for me. So interesting play pattern coming up here in a moment that you'll see. So I do get to loam here and then cast the loam. Unfortunately, I'm not really finding anything that's worth a shit other than like wastelands and stuff like that. So we use the loam here, and we're able to pull back some lands out of the graveyard. Still no sagas, it looks like. But we do take the bog, I think. Yeah, the bog makes sense. And I took Wasteland, Basic Forest, and Bajuka Bog. And then get to play some lands here. Very excited. So I think we bog them first. Or we play... No, I think we eventually bog them in this turn because it makes the most sense. And we bog, taking 2 damage there. I'm not very good at this, so... Alright, so here's the interesting play pattern that I was talking about. So he's going to fetch and then go get, and then Vampiric Tutor, putting the card that he wants on top. And then at end step, still, I decide to Beseiju the Underground Sea, and he chooses to go get another land off of it, which then completely shuffles the Vampiric Tutor. So I was super excited to actually do that. The funny thing is, he didn't quite realize it until his draw step when he was like, oh shit, I shuffled my library and the card that I got off my Vampiric Tutor isn't there anymore. And then we had a good chuckle about that too. It was a good time. We were having a great time. Andrew is a fantastic dude to play with. He plays old school. He comes out and plays Legacy with us at the league sometimes. And then he always comes out for Vintage, which is his favorite formats. So now he catches on to the Beseiju and having to shuffle his library and everything like that. And we have a good laugh, as you should in Vintage, as I've found. We get a loam here. We finally find a freaking whatever the fuck these things are called, Urza Sagas. And the Urza, I finally get the loam out Urza Saga, and I can actually play my my Lurus as well because I've got some green and white mana, or some white and black mana available to me now. So good times from that. So a little bit more about my Eternal Weekend. My round 1 opponent was on Hollowvine, which I had practiced that matchup before multiple times. So I was happy to actually get that matchup against that. It's a pretty good matchup for lands, with us having Tabernacle main deck, Bajuka Bog main deck, and Strip Mines, Wastelands, Besejus. Plenty of ways for us to turn them off of what they're trying to do. My round 2 was against Oath of Druids, which I won as well. And at that point, I thought I was unstoppable. I was like, oh shit, I 2-0'd Oath of Druids, I 2-0'd Hollowvine. No one has anything for me. And then I ran into Hank Zong on Oath of Druids, and he absolutely destroyed me. And then I ran into Ben Weinberg, who then also absolutely destroyed me. But then I played against Blue-White aggro, and I actually won that one 2-1. He got me game 1, and I was able to pull back 2 and 3 because I have Swords of Plowshares. And then I played against a colorless shops deck, which I pretty handily dismantled, and was feeling pretty good. Those were my 4 wins. And then I went up against another colorless shops deck, and being high and mighty, I thought that I'd just walk through that matchup because I just walked through the other one, and then I got 2-0'd. And then I went up against Mono White Initiative, beat the shit out of me game 1. Game 2, I was able to get a Chalice on 0 on the play, which turned off all of his fast mana, but I couldn't convert. I didn't draw any loams, I didn't draw any sagas. I just couldn't get anything going, and then he eventually just was able to just draw enough lands to beat me, and that was that. And then I got to play against Raffaele Verino from New York. He was also on stream as well earlier in that day, and I beat him game 1, and then he said, oh shit, I'm going to have to try, and then he absolutely dumpstered me games 2 and 3.
If you've been enjoying our content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below.
Welcome back to game number 2 of the worst commentated vintage that you've ever watched. If you're still with me, I appreciate it. Now that we've seen the deck list and the sideboards, you can guess that I brought in some collector oofs, as well as I think I brought in some Force of Vigors and an Outland Liberator and maybe the Null Rod. I'm not entirely sure if I brought that in or not. But if we take a look at Andrew's deck, it's pretty cool because he's running a Grixis Wheels deck. His idea here is I don't think this list is exact to what he was running because he was also running Hull Breacher as well. But he was running Wheel of Fortune and Time Twister to just completely fuck with me. And he's also running Bowmasters as well, so he could just shoot me in the face a whole bunch. And then he's running the normal power and everything like that, along with the Time Vault Key combo, which is pretty cool. I don't know if he was running Sagas. I can't quite remember. Maybe he was, but I grabbed the first Grixis Wheel deck I saw because I wasn't able to get the list from him. Not quickly. I just didn't ask him, and I was being lazy. So yeah, here we are. So we get to see some Ancestral Recalling here, and me just sitting there twiddling my thumbs while he gets to do all these cool things with all of his awesome power. And at this point, I only owned the Lotus and the Emerald and a Pearl that I hadn't had a chance to pick up yet. So he's over here just flexing on me with his beta lands and pretty moxes kind of thing. So looks like I did get my my Fast Bond Force Negation, which makes sense. And we've got an Exploration, which kind of does the same, imitation. And I'm going to take some damage here, and there's the Collector Roof. So we can turn off the Moxes and the Nile Spell Bomb, and just have to be careful as to not attack into Bowmaster that we can see in his hand. I kind of read that it was in his hand. Yep. Anyway, I think that's really all about it. I mean, along with Eternal Weekend was absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend anybody who's even thinking about playing in Vintage or in the Legacy tournaments to do it. The unpowered part of Vintage looked really cool. It had a couple guys who went deep and did really well unpowered. So if you're a deck master in Legacy, you have a chance to do some crazy things in Vintage, especially against the Vintage players who don't play very often. Such a friendly group of people and such a great time. Like I can't express enough like how much the Vintage community is just like welcoming and just fun to be around. And just excited to play. Like, they don't really give a shit, win or lose. I mean, the tables I was at, because I was at the losers table, not seeing anybody that I was playing were losers, but those guys and girls were having the time of their life. I've never been at a tournament where I think it was 9 rounds. Yeah, it was 9 rounds before it's cut to top 8, and there was still like 200 plus people playing just because they wanted to play. They didn't care about prizing out or getting any money. I mean, we're there playing with stupid expensive decks for pennies. Like, it's crazy. So just the amount of interaction and fun that I had with everyone, just I can't say enough. It's absolutely fantastic. So I have no idea what I name with Pithing Needle here because it's been like a month and a half since I actually did this game. So sorry about that. Again, if you're still with me, I appreciate it. Let's see, what else can we talk about with Vintage that I really like. I think Aggro Shops is probably the next place I go on my journey for Vintage. I think it's going to be more my style as I'm a Green White Lands player in Legacy, and I love Tron in Modern. So I've been told that should be where I start putting my my head is in Aggro Shop. So we'll see how that goes once I acquire the cards for it and start playing it all the time. I do get to make a 2020 here, which is pretty exciting. You don't get to do that very often in Vintage, and being able to dodge a strip mine or a wasteland is definitely something that's absolutely fantastic. So hopefully he doesn't have a Brazen Borrower just to fuck with my day. No, another Bowmaster hitting me for 1. And pass it over. He does that end step. Let's see what he finds here. Looks like he finds a Narset as well. So he's got the fetch, and then he can play a Narset. I'm not quite sure what else he can do from here. But we got to do the fun things in Vintage that we enjoy doing in Legacy. And we got to laugh and have a good time. Just adding up all the damage that he can do. I'm at 16. I think he can swing for 4. I have 3 blockers. And we're just working through it here. So down tick on that Narset and see if he can find what would that be? That's that Submerge. See if he has a Submerge in his Vintage deck. I don't think he does. Looks like it's a Time Walk and a Force of Will and something else. So I don't think he was quite ready to fight the 2020. He is just going to flex on me by showing me his Time Walk, though. And I think this is probably going to be the end here. But, all right, pass it back over. Let's see what we can do here. We're going to tick that up. I wonder if we're going to make a Construct or go get a Shadow Spear here. Probably float a mana. There's a fast bond. Yeah, we'll make a Construct. Fuck it. And, oh, yeah. I go get the Lotus just because I wanted to look at it. There it is. Yeah, just wanted to stare at it before I put it back up until Eternal Weekend. And there it is. Yeah, giving it a little rub there. And I appreciate everybody who watched this shit and listened to me babble on for the past 17 minutes. You're still here. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.
If you've been enjoying our content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below.